Hello and welcome back to this channel. I want to get on here real quick because I'm learning something and I think it might be beneficial to someone. Sometimes people are too smart for God. Sometimes you will come across people who have a hard time with faith because they don't want to give up control. They want to put God in a very specific box, and they don't want to open themselves up to the possibility that he is everything and that he can be everything and use everything. And I find that the people who have the most religious spirit are the ones who need faith the most, because they're trying in their own strength so much that they push out God. They push him out and they cancel out any space for a miracle or for Holy Spirit to move. And I'm still trying to discern, like, when do I help? I'll give you an example. Someone told me that they had a dream and that a voice spoke to them, and they weren't sure if it was God or not, but the voice was telling them to breathe, and that they're forgetting to breathe. And the way that they said it, whatever voice this was very stern. And like, I don't think I'm an expert, excuse me, but the way my father handles me, the way my husband handles me, is patient, is kind, with self-control, and with joy. I don't think I've ever had a situation where I've heard God yelling at me. I've had him sit me down. I've felt the power and the authority over me, and he like sat me at a table, like sat me, like took me and sat me, and I felt that I wasn't in control, and how immense this power was, how like I was just like, oh my gosh, like in full surrender. So I challenged this person by saying, if he is called the Prince of Peace, then it doesn't sound like something he would say. And they were like, well, I know that a voice spoke to me. And I'm like, yeah, okay, so let's challenge and ask what voice that was. Ask God, and you'll know the truth. And this was not the way to go. I shouldn't have done that, because they want to be so right in their interpretation. They want to be so, like I said, in control of how God manifests. If God can use a mule to speak to someone, then he can use anything, but his character will not change. Him being a loving God, a patient God, that won't change, because he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Now, were there times where God was angry and strict? Absolutely. But thank God Jesus came, and thank God through his resurrection and his death, we were able to receive the Holy Spirit, who intercedes on our behalf. So we have a little bit of a buffer. Now, I have never heard the audible voice of God. I've heard him like an internal type of way, like a knowing type of way, like a telepathic, I guess, type of way, where his voice is, I know, is in my head, but it's not my voice, because I'm not that cool. I don't think that way. I don't pretend to be so enlightened. Like, I'm a simple woman. And he's got to make it simple, make it plain for me. And so as I'm in my own journey, as I'm diving into the prophetic and how other people have had their experiences with God, I'm opening my mind to the possibility, because an example for me is, sometimes I see a very strong flash of light, like very strong, like the strongest light I've ever seen in my life. And it's not necessarily, sometimes the blue light, sometimes it's like the purest white. I can't even describe. It's almost like metallic. It's very strange. And as I'm hearing other people's testimonies, I understand that it's the presence of the Holy Spirit, or of a spirit, and we have to learn how to discern spirits. But if I were to put in my mind that, no, this is just what I think it is, and I don't give space to grow, to learn, it's never gonna happen for me, because God is not gonna impose on me, Even when it comes to speaking in tongues, some people describe speaking in tongues as like just something that flows and they can't control. I've had speaking in tongues where it starts and then it just goes, but the tongues change. In the beginning it was like ba 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 ba, ba, like very simple, like babble, like baby babble. And now it's like a dialect. Now it's like the words, and I asked Holy Spirit to help me translate, and I can translate my own like words. But if I hadn't heard a testimony, if I hadn't asked, if I didn't know that these things are available to all of us, and if I would have just kept God in a box in my mind, this and these are the parameters, and he can't work outside of it, I would never grow in the spirit. It would never happen. God would never impose that on me. Like, you think that that's all I can do, then that's all I'm gonna do for you, here, until God decides to do otherwise. Who am I to say what God can do and can't do? But I want to encourage someone. Some people are too smart for God, and we just pray that God humbles them in a way that it allows for there to be a deeper relationship with Holy Spirit and God the Father and Jesus, because we don't want to grow stagnant in our faith. So yeah, I hope this blesses someone. Jesus loves you. I love you. Bye.